welcome back to the National Results Operations Centre. And as you can see, the board behind us is back up and running. And this just after we took that briefing by the IEC. They gave us half an hour, but came back quicker than that. And of course, you heard there from Mawethu Mosiri, one of the commissioners, that the capturing is now at around 58%. I know the board says 54.89, but he said they are now at around 58% in terms of capturing. And that is the leaderboard. Nothing much has changed from the last time, except for the numbers increasing, of course, and that's where we'll park that just for the time being. All right, we just want to get into some of the predictions and, of course, the seat allocation. If you've just joined us, we're going to run through that again because that's where we've moved the focus to this morning. We're looking at the seat allocation. We looked at national earlier on, and now we're going to look at the provincial seat allocation. And this is, of course, with Professor Pravesh Debba from the CSIR, who's been with us. And, of course, we joined now by the University of Free State's Professor Sethulego Matebesi. Thanks so much, Prof, for joining us as well. All right, we don't have much time. Let's kick it off. So let's start with the provincial prediction for seat allocation, Prof. Debba, and starting with the Eastern Cape, and then we'll work through it in alphabetical order. So let's start with the Free State.
Okay. Do you want me to just concentrate on the top political parties, or how do you want?
I think let's look at all the seats. I would imagine which province has the most seats in terms of party spread?
Oh, I didn't look at that.
Okay, but let's just quickly run through it.
Eastern Cape, we're looking at I think there's 72 seats that's allocated for the Eastern Cape. So ANC, they are likely to end up with about 46 of the 72 if the predictions are correct. Then for DA, at this moment it's looking at 11 out of the 72. For EFF 7, for UDM 3, for PA 2, MK 1, and then UDM 1, and EFF 1.
All right, so that would be the...
No, sorry.
EFF you had already given us.
EFF is 7. So
ATM?
ATM 1, correct.
ATM.
Correct. Yep.
ATM, yes. They had one seat previously in 2019 as well. Eastern Cape, we see not huge fluctuation from what the parties had in 2019, except, of course, the new entries there with MK and the Patriotic Alliance.
And I think also the number of seats might have increased as well.
Yes, they seem to have increased because the ANC had 44, and you said 46 is the prediction. DA, they had 10 in 2019. EFF had 5, UDM 2, ATM 1, Freedom Front plus 1. So, yeah, it's looking more or less, not too wildly different from what there was. And then the Free State, let's look at those.
For the Free State, there's 30 seats in total. Of them, it seems like ANC could end up with something like around 16 or so. DA could end up with around 7. EFF 4, ACT 1, MK 1, and a Freedom Front plus 1.
Again, we're just running through these just to give you a sense of the predictions, because unfortunately time is against us right now. But don't forget, we've got wall-to-wall coverage here on SABC, and you will be able to hear more of this on the other platforms as well. And Liesel did run through it earlier, so we're just touching on it again. Prof, just in terms of what we're seeing so far, anything stands out for you?
No, what really stands out for me, it's yet again indicative that the premise of elections reflects the will of the people. And I think South Africans have spoken, but very interesting, if you see there's a marginal loss of seat predicted at this stage, and we must once again caution viewers that these are predictions that the ANC will lose 2 seats It's marginal losses for what I will call our three main parties, perhaps in the Eastern Cape. But I think Gauteng will be where all our eyes will be on, because I strongly believe that there might be some surprises there.
Well, next is Gauteng. Prof?
Okay, for Gauteng, there's a total of 80 seats available, of which ANC could possibly get 28 out of the 80, DA 22, EFF 11, MK 8, Action SA 3, PA 2, and we'll just see what Freedom Front Plus 2, and there's one that's missing. I'm just thinking what it is. DA 2. No, DA is 22.
DA is 22,
So-
yes.
Oh, it is.
All right, so we are just taking a quick look at some of the predictions, of course, for the seat allocation in the provincial legislatures. And these are predictions. We do say there is about a 2 percentage point margin of error. So we should always keep that in mind. These are the predictions that we are looking at now.
So here we are, closing up from the National Results Centre here in Midrand. What a joy it's been, but I know we need to quickly just wrap up with, I know you were doing some predictions and analysis here, SK, and then we'll wrap it up and say goodbye to
Indeed,
you.
let's just quickly look at KZN and then we can wrap it up there.
Sure. So for KZN, there's also 80 seats that is available, which it seems like the MK party could attract about 37 of the 80, ANC 15, IFP 14, DA 11, EFF 2, and NFP 1.
Prof?
Yeah, I strongly believe that MK has demonstrated that they will make a clean sweep of KZN, and it will be much easier for them to get into a coalition government if you look at that scenario, other than all the other provinces and even at national level.
That raises such interesting scenarios because they could literally freeze out the ANC altogether there and get one of the smaller parties, one or two, to go into forming that coalition government. It's going to be so interesting.
Well, it certainly is, and you know, even speaking to the political parties, the big players, like somebody like the IFP, this has taken them by surprise.
Yeah,
I'm
but-
not sure if we didn't think it was coming. Can you imagine how they feeling?
Yeah, and I think on some level we did see it coming. You know, I remember saying when the party lists were being submitted, the magic number for the ANC is 160.
Yeah, yeah.
Beyond that, nobody's guaranteed anything. And that's exactly what Prof's prediction has turned out to be, 160. But thank you so much to our guests, Prof. Debba and also Prof. Matebesi, for joining us and speaking through these